but now you can start, ma'am.
कोई नहीं सर, सॉरी नहीं सर, ऐसा नहीं है सर. I am also part of the community. That's it. सभी को मेरा नमस्कार.
नमस्ते मैम.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. जैसे मैंने कहा, I am also part of the community and Sharad sir, you are doing a great job. All of you are connected over here. तो आज 2 टॉपिक एक्चुअली लिखा हुआ था, तो 2 टॉपिक एक दिन में पॉसिबल नहीं है. I won't be doing justice. That also I was in a bit hurry क्योंकि कैंप में बैठ के कर रही थी. So anyway, so today's topic is equitable and inclusive education. Am I audible?
Yes.
Am I audible? Okay. So inclusive education, we have been talking about it since long. And can anyone tell me when this concept of inclusive education came? Hello?
रिपोर्ट तो आता क्या है? प्रतीक सिंह प्लीज म्यूट कीजिए. प्रतीक सिंह सर प्लीज म्यूट कीजिए.
Any idea when this inclusive education started? Anyway, it was in 2000.
1995 or 16.
So 2000. 2000.
Okay.
I'll come to it in detail. But now in NP National, our NEP National Education Policy, this equitable word is added with inclusive education. So I will discuss in that light only. As you can see in the caption, in that a community that includes even one member is no community at all. Yes, it's excludes even one member is no community at all. Yes. When we talk of inclusion, we talk in broader sense. Not only physically, those who are having physical disparity or disability. When we talk of inclusion, we talk of inclusion in all forms. Maybe children with socially backward community or any will come in. I'll come in. Yes.
सॉरी मैम टू इंटरप्ट मैम. वो स्क्रीन रश्मि मैम का ना, उसमें कुछ दिख नहीं रहा है, अभी प्रेजेंट नहीं हुआ है.
रश्मि कुछ दिख नहीं रहा है, तो मैं डिस्कस करूं बाद में. ये दे दूं चलेगा?
मैडम स्क्रीन गायब हो गया. मैं फोन से भी हूँ, दोनों से हूँ, स्क्रीन गायब हो गया.
कोई नहीं, अगर टेक्निकल ग्लिच है मैं डिस्कस कर लेती हूँ विथ पावर पॉइंट. बाद में पावर पॉइंट शेयर कर दूं चलेगा? विल दैट डू?
ओके मैम, आप डिस्कस करते रहिए मैम, आप फिर से ट्राई कीजिए और मैम आप डिस्कस कर लेते हैं. ओके यस मैम.
It is rightly said that education is the single greatest tool for achieving social justice and equality.
आवाज नहीं आ रही.
मेरी आवाज भी नहीं आ रही है?
नहीं मैम, आवाज तो
आवाज आ रही है मैम. अरे
एक्चुअली व्हाट आई
Very much audible.
एक्सक्यूज मी.
ऑडिबल है मैम. यस.
एक्सक्यूज मी मैम, मेरा एक रिक्वेस्ट था कि यदि आप अभी शेयर कर देंगी तो हम लोग साइमल्टेनियसली उसे रेफर भी करते जाएंगे और आप बताती जाएंगी. तो
मैंने रश्मि को दिया है ना, कौन सा ग्रुप में दो बोलिए मैडम, मैं तुरंत दे देती.
हाँ जी
मैडम, कौन सा ग्रुप में दो बोलिए?
पवन सर, अगर पवन सर शेयर कर देते.
टारगेट फॉर एलडी.
टारगेट फॉर एलडी भेज रहा हूँ. एक मिनट.
थैंक यू. तो साइमल्टेनियसली हम देख उधर लेंगे और आप समझाती जाएंगी, तो दैट विल बी मोर क्लियर.
थैंक यू मैडम. जी मैडम. सर PRT to HM में भी भेज दीजिए.
मैं सारे PRT HM हर जगह में भेज दे रहा हूँ. थोड़ा वेट कीजिए, थोड़ा समय लगेगा, जा रहा है.
ओके. हाँ, सबको करने दीजिए सर, देख लीजिए स्लाइड. एनीवे, it is said that education is the single greatest tool for achieving social justice and equality. हम जानते हैं कि injustice exists in many forms and only education, when people develop that awareness, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट कई स्कीम शुरू करके भी the government becomes failure because people are not aware of it. So if we can educate people in the right way, then only justice can be done to all sectors of a society. Now, what is inclusive education? Inclusive education means that all children, regardless of their ability level, are included in a mainstream classroom. It can be the physical ability, it can be the mental ability, it can be the social ability. Whatever discrepancies they have, regardless of that, they should be included in the same classroom. Environment to be most appropriate or least restrictive environment, we call it LRE. Least restrictive environment. That is the reason आपको पता है चंद साल हो गया it has become compulsory to have special toilets for children with disability or ramp has been built.
ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಏನ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಇದೆ ನನಗಲ್ಲಿ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಕೂಡ್ತಾರ ಅವ್ರು ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಳ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ
ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ?
Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself, everybody.
सर जी प्लीज जो जिनकी आवाज है उनको तुरंत रिमूव कर दीजिए।
पाटिल सर,
मैम आप म्यूट हो गए हैं। यस मैम।
मुझे किसने म्यूट किया? एनीवे, ओके, फाइन. So what I was telling, least restrictive environment, least restrictive in the sense of least restrictive in the sense of means infrastructure, least restrictive in the sense of mental barrier of the teachers. They should be environment should be provided to them where least physical restriction is there. That means infrastructure problem is there, and also the teachers may have to overcome that mental barrier. Inclusive education में सबसे बड़ा problem है teachers का mental barrier. Students of all ability levels are taught as equals. It hardly matters. Gone are the days. We all know about multiple intelligence. So only academically intelligent children are not considered to be intelligent. हमें ये पता है, a child who sings well, a child who is a good swimmer or a good runner or a player is also intelligent. So सारे बच्चों को इसीलिए equitable शब्द आता है कि all should be treated as equal, all ability levels. Curriculum and teaching methodology are such that all students benefit. Now curriculum too has to be adaptive to such situations. Curriculum ऐसे क्योंकि mentally educable भी बच्चे आते हैं, intellectual impairment हम जिन्हें बोलते हैं, ऐसे बच्चे भी यहाँ पे आते हैं, comes under inclusion. So curriculum need to be revised for them. And you can see the next picture, inclusion in any form. बहुत ही yes, now it is presented, no? Yes, inclusion in any form. Even कई बार ऐसा होता है ना कि जैसे ऐसे प्रॉब्लमेटिक जिनको हम प्रॉब्लमेटिक समझते हैं, such a barrier, फिजिकल इम्पेयरमेंट जिनका होता है, कई बार टीचर्स उनको बाहर लेकर भी नहीं जाते गेम, उनको किसी चीज में पार्टिसिपेट नहीं करने दिया जाता है. So that is not inclusion. Inclusion does not mean that giving admission to the child, providing infrastructure, talking nicely to the child. No, the child should be given every right, and this picture speaks volume. You can see even sitting in a wheelchair also the child is throwing a ball or playing with the other children. Now I will quote from this 2003 में MHRD Human Resource Development में जो definition दिया था inclusive education का. Inclusive education means all learners, young people with or without disabilities being able to learn together in ordinary preschool provisions, schools and community educational settings. Schools के बाहर भी community educational जो schools तक नहीं पहुंच पाते हैं उनको जो है next slide में चले जाइएगा सर. तो community educational system होते हैं जहाँ पे NGOs classes conduct करते हैं. Everywhere inclusion should be there with appropriate network of support services. Yes, support services need to be provided by the government to the such schools and NGOs. This is a draft of inclusive education scheme, draft made by Minister of Human Resource Development of Government of India 2003. Now the journey, how it started. Initially India में charity model यानी कि ये समझा जाता था people with any kind of disability, physical or mental, they should be custodial care in extreme isolation. They were kept away from the school in isolation are only sympathetic. They are viewed in a sympathetic way कि इनको इनके ऐसे लोगों के प्रति तो sympathy दिखाया जा सकता है और घर में रखना चाहिए. They are problems to the society. They are merely a burden for the society or a problem to the society. Then came the biocentric model. Biocentric model is a medical model. Only it was considered that due to genetic condition, people face these disabilities and only they need medical care or treatment. Then came the functional model. Functional model is also known as social model. It's somewhat similar to the biocentric model, where it is considered that person with disability need services from a rehabilitation professional who can provide training, therapy, counseling or other services to make it up. Okay. Then finally came the human rights model. The model we are following right now. Important dimensions of human culture, and it affirms that all humans are born with certain inalienable rights. हर इंसान एक ही तरह every inalienable rights. Every human being has got that right. We cannot exclude them. We cannot keep them away from the society. So this is the human rights model we are following right now. So you see the pictures on next slide में जाइए. First you see exclusion. They were kept away at the left bottom corner. Exclusion. First of all, people with disability, mental or physical, whatever, they are kept outside the society. The next was segregation. Fine. They are provided medical support or occupational therapy support or which is a social model, everything, but they are segregated. They are a group. Special schools were there from them. Then came integration. Any idea when integration started? Any idea? Integrated education?
No, ma'am. No.
It's in 1970, I believe. Integrated education started. IEDC was, but it was not successful. 1970 or something. I'll check it 1 second, sir. If I'm wrong, I'll confirm it. Finally, in 2000, it came as inclusion. You can see the final picture. It is inclusion. All is it. In 2000, NCFC, National Curriculum for School Education, 2000, it brought by NCRT, recommended inclusive schools for all without specific reference in peoples with special education need. उनको special educational need नहीं बोला जाना, कोई specific reference उन्हें नहीं देना. They are part of the mainstream. And जिन्हें हम अभी तक SCN या special educational need के बच्चे बोलते थे, they need to be educated with other learners in inclusive schools, which should be cost effective. ऐसे schools cost effective भी होना चाहिए and pedagogical practices भी इनके लायक होना चाहिए. This was suggested by NCFSE, National Curriculum for School Education 2000, and it was brought out by NCERT. तब से लेकर inclusion we are following. Next slide, sir. When it was segregated, अगर आपके पास आप देखिए बहुत बढ़िया ये मैंने दिया है. When they are segregated, special education, special child. Very nice representation, graphical representation. Square peg for square holes. यानी कि जैसे बच्चे उनके लिए अलग से हो. School of normal education, round pegs and round holes. Then came integrated education. IEDC, integrated education, जो government ने लाया, it was not successful. Yes, integrated education in 1970, I was right. So it was not very successful. So government provided all the support. All financial support were provided, every facility, teachers were trained, but still it was not successful. Only 2 to 3% people joined in integrated education. Why it was found that change the child to fit the system. That means school उनके लिए change नहीं हुआ. जो आप special education, special need के बच्चों को अगर square peg मानते हैं, उनको जबरदस्ती round holes में डालने की कोशिश किया गया. The school did not change. बच्चे को स्कूल में तो बुलाया गया इंटीग्रेटेड एजुकेशन के नाम पे, but the school did not provided any such facility. That is the reason integrated education is not very successful. Now the last picture अगर आपके पास है देखिएगा, that in graphical representation, inclusive education. Children are different. All children are जैसे बच्चा वैसे, जैसा पेट वैसा whole. It may be hexagonal, it may be semicircle, it may be cylindrical, it may be triangular. So pegs can be of different shape, and school should have that kind of holes. That means जैसा बच्चा schools को वैसे ही adapt करना है. That is inclusive education, and that is the very simple difference between inclusive education and integrated education. Integrated education is bringing such children to the classroom, but not providing them the right atmosphere. Inclusive education is not only, yes sir, next slide. Sir, उस slide पे जाइए sir, yes. Now the previous one sir, the previous one. Why inclusion से पहले वाला slide? आधा दिख रहा sir screen में, yes, yes, this one, you can see this one, yes, this one, okay. आपके पास आप देखिएगा. So inclusive education is whatever the child is the school should adapt to it. Now why inclusion? Inclusion क्यों जरूरी है? You know that as per Article 21A of Constitution of India and the Right to Education Act, it has both this make elementary education a fundamental right. ये सबका fundamental right है. So you cannot deny education to any child. You just cannot deny education to any child in the name of any discrepancies or in his life. And again, I'm telling you, not only physical discrepancies can be social, it can be mental also. That is the reason education is, as it is a fundamental right, inclusion is very much necessary. The inclusive education, what are the, sir, I've gone those slide और आगे, इसके आगे सर next जो present कर रहे हैं please, yeah, next one graphical representation, yes. Now, what is the essence of inclusive education? Child remain as a natural self. We are not trying to change the child. The previous one, sir. Okay, doesn't matter. Least restrictive, atmosphere to be least restrictive. In the sense of, previously I told, not only for infrastructural, but least restrictive as mental barriers.
Just 1 minute, madam. I'm able to present now. So, is this the same slide now you're talking about? So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very much. Very much.
I'm able to present? Okay,
Yes,
okay.
sir. Very much.
Yeah.
बहुत अच्छा मैडम, इसको ग्रुप में शेयर कर दीजिएगा प्लीज सर.
Yes, madam. Least restrictive in the sense, not only in the sense of infrastructure, but mental barrier of the teacher. We should overcome that barrier. Least restrictive. Child-centered. We have to think of the child's problem. Equal opportunities for participation. ऐसा नहीं, I'll give an example of my school. There is a child, he is mild OCD and not ADHD, autistic, mild autism and mild OCD. But when we discovered that the child can sing nicely, we allow the child to sing. And this CCA competition was there. I asked the housemaster, बच्चे को participate करने दो, कोई sympathy मत दिखाओ. If he deserves, give him a prize. If he does not deserve, don't give any consolation prize. Competition में जिस जगह पे हुआ, that is equal opportunity for participation. Teacher effective in including all children in learning process. We need to be effective. हाँ, ये बात आती है कि we are not trained. Yes, honestly speaking, though I should not speak in this platform, we KB teachers get very less chance or exposure, or we are not trained in that way. That leads to frustration among the teachers. I've seen that frustration among the teachers because they are not trained and they are not able to handle. दूसरे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के स्कूल्स में 5 days वर्कशॉप होते रहते हैं. कभी उनको ब्रेल कभी उनको आपका ब्रेल पढ़ना सिखाया जाता है, कभी उनको साइन लैंग्वेज सिखाया जाता है. Yes, KVS is lagging behind in that sense. I do admit. But anyway, but a teacher should be effective as much as we can. Rights realized and actualized. Yes, we should realize that a child has this right, equal right. and that should be actualized. केवल realize करने से नहीं, actualize. That should be given shape and most cost effective. That KVS, of course, it is. Next slide, sir.
सर
मैडम, इंक्लूसिव एजुकेशन और इंटीग्रेटेड एजुकेशन में एक बार फिर से जरा डिफरेंशिएशन बता दीजिए।
हाँ, बता दे रही हूँ सर। इंटीग्रेटेड एजुकेशन 1970 में इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया, IEDC जो प्रोग्राम था उसमें देखा गया, गवर्नमेंट ने देखा सिर्फ 2 to 3% बच्चे को स्कूल तक लाया जाता था। क्यों? मैंने एक प्रेजेंटेशन से दिखाया था कि होल्स वर राउंड बट द पेग्स वर स्क्वायर। आप अगर गोल होल्स है उसमें आप स्क्वायर पेग या स्क्वायर जो आपका अगर नेल ही मान लीजिए उसको फिट नहीं कर सकते थे, यानी कि स्कूल में कोई परिवर्तन नहीं हुआ, ना रैम्प बना, ना टॉयलेट बना, ना टीचर्स के बिहेवियर में चेंज आया, ना ही टीचर के ट्रेनिंग दिया गया, बस उनको इंटीग्रेट किया गया। उनके लिए नथिंग वाज, नो चेंजेस इन द स्कूल एटमॉस्फेयर। दैट वाज इंटीग्रेटेड एजुकेशन। दे आर इंटीग्रेटेड बट दे आर नॉट ट्रीटेड एज वन ऑफ देम, one of the, they are not given equal rights or equal participation. इसीलिए that was not successful. तभी से 2000 NCSSC के तहत आपका जो है एजुकेशन है। इंक्लूसिव मतलब उनको अगर हम स्कूल में ला रहे हैं तो उनके लिए उनके मुताबिक हम एटमॉस्फेयर प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं। Am I clear, sir? Yes. Sir, am I clear?
जी मैम, इसमें इंटीग्रेटेड एजुकेशन तो मतलब यूनिसेफ का था ना मैम?
हाँ सर, वो तो इम्प्लीमेंटेड हर जगह, वो इंक्लूसिव भी यूनिसेफ का ही है सर, वो भी यूनिसेफ का ही है। ड्राफ्टिंग कब हम इम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं डिपेंड करता है कंट्री पे, बट इट इज ऑल एनीथिंग रिलेटेड टू द चिल्ड्रंस एजुकेशन इज सजेस्टेड बाय यूनिसेफ और गाइडेड बाय यूनिसेफ। ओके सर, इंटीग्रेशन, they are integrated in the mainstream but they are not provided, they are not adapted to that, they are not provided any platform to get adapted to the situation. Now coming to the next slide, equitable and inclusive education, NEP 2020. NEP 2020 में कैसे इसको डिफाइन किया गया है? To achieving an inclusive and equitable society in which every citizen has the opportunity to dream, thrive and contribute to the nation. That is main thing. We should not write off such children. मेंटली एजुकेबल को, जिसको हम लोग स्लो लर्नर बोलते हैं या क्या बोलते हैं, लेट ब्लूमर, कुछ भी बोले, वी राइट ऑफ कि नहीं, इससे कुछ नहीं होगा। बट NEP 2020 says no, every child has the opportunity to dream and thrive and contribute. सबका कुछ ना कुछ रोल सबका है, everyone has a role to play. No house stands with only dining room or a room for puja. Like a house include all kinds of room and everyone has its role to play. उस तरह हर कोई सोसाइटी में कुछ ना कुछ कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं। Society is not meant for IITians and IIMs on. The education system must aim to benefit India's children so that no child loses any opportunity to learn and excel because of circumstances of birth or background. अगर बच्चे में कोई physical deformity है तो by maybe it is congenial by birth or maybe due to some accident, क्या उसका हम हक छीन सकते हैं हम लोग? या फिर बैकग्राउंड, कई बच्चे डिस्टर्ब बैकग्राउंड से आते हैं, the father may be means abusive or any problem at home, तो वो सोशली डिसएडवांटेज ग्रुप से आते हैं, इकोनॉमिकली डिस्टर्ब बैकग्राउंड से, क्या उसका हम हक छीन सकते? नो। दैट इज द NEP 2020 stresses on this, that equal opportunity to excel, मौका सभी को मिलना चाहिए। This policy reaffirms that breaching the social category gaps in access participation and learning outcomes in school to be one of the major goals of all education. Social category का जो gap है उसको खत्म करना है, maybe based on caste, maybe based on economical background, whatever it is, that gap need to be breached. That is the reason inclusive education के साथ equitable word has added and stress has been given on it. Prior to this, what we used to think only of physical deformity, mental deformity, not deformity. Next one. While the Indian education system and successive government policies have made steady progress towards breaching gender and social category gaps in all levels of school education. Large disparities still remain. I'm not talking about KVS. I'm not talking about KVS. Think beyond that. Think beyond that. You go to rural areas, आज भी यहाँ लड़कियों को स्कूल नहीं भेजा जाता है. गवर्नमेंट बहुत कोशिश करती है. आप जानते हैं सर्व शिक्षा अभियान के तहत सबको हेल्प मिलता है. गवर्नमेंट प्रोवाइड मिड डे मील आज 1 से 8 तक सारे स्कूल्स को मिल रहे हैं. नॉट ओनली स्कूल्स, आपके जो जैसे आपके कम्युनिटीज हो गए, माद्रासाज हो गए, सब जगह 1 to class 8 तक के बच्चे को फ्री मिड डे मील दिया जा रहा है. हर तरह का ऑल opportunities are being extended by every government. Education being a concurrent, in concurrent list, so state भी central के तरफ से जो भी scheme है, it is implemented, but still gaps are. Gender को लेकर, social category को still gaps are there. Yes, madam. Any problem?
नो मैम शायद ऐसे ही हो गया होगा.
अच्छा. So this bridge need to be gapped, and that is what 2020. Now, as per NEP 2020, SEDGs और socio-economically disadvantaged groups किनको बोला जाता है. Next slide, शरद sir. The next slide, please. Gender identities, particularly female and transgender individuals. You know, transgender individuals should also be given importance. And they are also scaling heights. They are doctors, they are writers, they are working as traffic police. Many states are giving importance to them. So this should be taken care of. Socio-cultural identities, these are SCs, STs, OBCs, tribes and minorities. और आपने पढ़ा होगा NEP 2020 में ट्राइब्स के लिए जहाँ पे ट्राइबल बेल्ट से टीचर्स नीड टू बी अपॉइंटेड फ्रॉम ट्राइब only so that the language should not be a barrier. The government is taking many steps regarding geographical identities, such as students from villages, small towns, and aspirational districts. They many times they do not get equal opportunity. Again, I'm telling you, I'm not talking of KVS. I'm talking in general, in totality. So, उन लोगों को वो मौका नहीं मिलता है जो शहर के बच्चों को मिलता है. तो पब्लिक ये पार्टनर गवर्नमेंट पार्टनरशिप मॉडल में पब्लिक आपको पता है कि व्हेन मनमोहन सिंह गवर्नमेंट जस्ट सजेस्टेड दैट स्कूल्स टू बी बिल्ट और कितनी जगह सक्सेसफुली चल रहा है डोंट नो, बट इन ओडिशा दे आर रनिंग वंडरफुली द पीपीपी मॉडल स्कूल्स और आदर्श विद्यालय. So that there should not be disparity among the rural and urban children. They should get equal advantage. Disabilities including learning disability सब आते हैं. Even learning disability, specific learning disability और SLD जिसे हम बोलते हैं, वो चाहे आपका physical impairment हो. Physical impairment में आप सब जानते हैं. It can be hearing impairment, it can be speech impairment, it can be visual impairment, it can be orthopedical impairment, and it can be mentally educable जो होते हैं उनमें भी जो intellectual impairment जिसे हम बोलते हैं learning disability उसमें आते हैं. Then socio-economic conditions. Many socio-economic conditions also disturb the education of a child, such as migrant communities, those who move around in search of jobs. किसी सीजन में एक जगह रह गए, कमा लिए थोड़ा बहुत, अगेन अनदर सीजन दे हैव टू मूव टू अनदर प्लेस. जो मेनली आपके जो लेबर्स होते हैं, the work in farms, big farms also, they have to move around. Low income households, children in vulnerable situations. Many are having disturbed family background. Victims of or children are victims of trafficking. You all know children trafficking जो victims होते हैं उनको society accept करने में society hesitates. Orphans, including child beggars in urban areas and urban poor, all of them come under SEDGs. And it is through education and through the inclusion we have to take care of all of this children. It requires acknowledgement. What acknowledgement we should have? All children can learn. We have to accept that all children can learn. Enabling educational structure methodology to meet the needs of all children. इसीलिए this government wants lots of reform in the education system. Educational structure ऐसा होना चाहिए कि जितने तरह के SEDGs हम देखते हैं, all children should be able to learn. Individual differences, conversion of process of education dynamic process, individual differences होंगे ही बच्चों, but education should be dynamic to cater to the need of all such children. Next slide, sir. Gap verticals, gap कहाँ access में gap, physical access I told you. Okay, fine. KVS are sound enough. They are preparing ramps. They are preparing the special toilet for them. But आप जानते हैं physical access का तो barrier है, infrastructural access का barrier है, learning access. बच्चे पढ़ नहीं पाते हैं. Participation is also a barrier. अब ऐसी रीजन स्कूलिंग प्रोसेस कई बार जो मैंने कहा सोशली और इकोनॉमिक डिसएडवांटेज ग्रुप्स के बच्चे कई बार पार्टिसिपेट नहीं करते. लर्निंग आउटकम जो डिस्क्रिपेंसीज है ना, एक्सपेक्टेड एक्सेप्टेबल लर्निंग, देयर इज अ डिस्क्रिपेंसी बिटवीन एक्सपेक्टेड एंड एक्सेप्टेबल लर्निंग आउटकम. व्हाट वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग, वी हैव फिक्स्ड टारगेटेड लर्निंग आउटकम, जो ईएलओ पहले बोलते हैं एक्सपेक्टेड लर्निंग आउटकम, और इस तरह के बच्चे किस कौन सा लर्निंग आउटकम अचीव कर पाएंगे, there is a discrepancies between. So these are the challenges, these gaps are the challenges, access, participation and learning outcomes gap. These are the challenges we need to overcome. Next one, sir. This is a graphical representation, major barrier. Okay, हम बोलते हैं society for all schools, हम बोलते हैं, but we do not give entry, lack of rehabilitation and equipment. कई बार बच्चों के पास equipment नहीं था. Many state governments are doing, they are providing means all the impairment के लिए जो equipment, many state governments are doing, they are providing that, but mostly ये है नहीं. Poverty है, बच्चा आ नहीं सकता. Physical barrier है, बच्चा उठ करके नहीं जा सकता. आप देख रहे हैं सीढ़ी. Ignorance and negative attitude. हमारे negative attitude, parent की ignorance, कई बार हमारा ignorance, कई बार हमारा लैक ऑफ नॉलेज. बट आप टीचर को पकड़ लीजिए. पार्डन,
स्कूल में भी मैम कई बार जो है हैंडीकैप्ड के लिए एक्सेसिबिलिटी नहीं है. सुगम में
वही तो बोल रही है सर. टीचर भी बहाना बनाते हैं, मैडम इसका ये प्रॉब्लम है, नहीं कर पाता है. मैडम क्या करें मैडम, दे डू नॉट इवन वांट टू थिंक दैट व्हाट वी कैन डू दैट. स्कूल में भी फिजिकल बैरियर तो है, उससे बढ़कर हमारा मेंटल बैरियर भी है सर. कैन वी डिनाई दैट सर? कैन वी डिनाई द मेंटल बैरियर? सो हम बोलते हैं सोसाइटी फॉर ऑल, बट नो एंट्री का बोर्ड हम दिखाते हैं. दीज आर द मेजर बैरियर्स. नेक्स्ट वन, ब्रीचिंग द गैप. हाउ कैन ब्रीच द गैप? अभी जो ब्रीच गैप के बारे में बोले, रिमूवल ऑफ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चरल बैरियर्स. जहाँ पे हमारे स्कूल में अगर कोई ऑर्थोपेडिकल इम्पेयरमेंट वाला बच्चा है, रिमूव द. अगर रैंप नहीं बन सकते किसी तरह से, या तो क्लासरूम नीचे आएगा, रैंप नहीं बन सकता. रिमूव एटीट्यूडिनल बैरियर. दिस व्हाट आई हैव ऑब्जर्व इन द टीचर्स. एटीट्यूडिनल बैरियर, एक्सेप्ट नहीं करना है तो नहीं करना. स्पेशली जो आपके ऑटिस्टिक बच्चों का आजकल एडमिशन मिलता है, जो 3% लैटरल एंट्री है, उसमें ऑटिज्म के बच्चे, ऑटिस्टिक बच्चे भी इंक्लूडेड है. इन बच्चों को टीचर एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं कर पाते. रिमूवल ऑफ लर्निंग बैरियर्स, जैसे मैंने कहा, आवर ईएलओ एडेप्टिव असेसमेंट उसी को कहते हैं कि क्वेश्चन आपका, अगर मेरे क्लास में कोई मतलब बिहेवियर डिसऑर्डर का बच्चा है, मेरे क्लास में अगर कोई हियरिंग इम्पेयर्ड बच्चा है, और फॉर हियरिंग इम्पेयर्ड चाइल्ड आई कैन नॉट हैव रीडिंग और लिसनिंग और स्पीकिंग कॉम्पिटेंस, उसके लिए मुझे सोचना पड़ेगा. अगर कोई बिहेवियर डिसऑर्डर बच्चा, आई कैन नॉट एक्सपेक्ट दैट ही विल राइट पेपर ऑफ 40 मार्क्स. So there is a learning barriers also we have to overcome. Building school communities. Yes, this is not applicable for us. We are already a community, but in like अभी जो जैसे आपके रूरल एरिया के, अर्बन एरिया के, आजकल जो आपके जो विद्यालय मैनेजमेंट उनका जो मैनेजमेंट कम्युनिटी होता है, कम्युनिटीज डेवलपिंग ऑफ स्कूल क्लस्टर्स और बेटर सपोर्ट. वो एनईपी का सजेशन है कि स्कूल क्लस्टर डेवलप किया जाए, so that they will support each other. This is not applicable for us in KVS. We are already a community, already clusters are supporting each other. Participation. Make learning meaningful, relevant, age and level appropriate. Adopting universal design of learning. Yes, learning should be meaningful. बार बार NEP में घूम फिर के ये आता है, no rote learning. It should be meaningful, it should be relevant. आप देखिएगा जो नेक्स्ट ये आ रहा है, नेशनल करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क आ रहा है, It will have a sea change. इतने होंगे ही नहीं syllabus. Okay. Learning outcomes based on individual capacities, need and learning preferences. Yes, it is not a common. It is not one size fits all. Learning outcomes भी बच्चे का situations के पर आधारित होना चाहिए. Using differentiated instruction assessment, we have to differentiate our instruction. No one particular methodology cannot be taken for all the children. Competency based continuous assessment. These are competency based कहते हैं KV में. That is not actually competency based. हम क्या करते हैं प्राइमरी में competency based है तो लैंग्वेज में 6 competency अलग अलग क्वेश्चन बना दिए. No, that is not competency based. Another day we will discuss on this. So learning outcome should be competency based. यानी कि बच्चा जब एक competency master करे, then let the child move to the next competency. So how can we empower the child? Next slide, sir. Yes, my needs are important. Find out from the child what is the need, what the strength of the child, what the child dreams or aspires, what the child going to do. Then the help I need from you. Let the child tell you what. That is child-centered learning. Child-centered learning मतलब ये नहीं कि 4 बच्चों को इकट्ठे बिठा दिए ग्रुप पे एक्टिविटी करने का आप टेबल में बैठ करके कॉपी चेक करने लगे. That is not child-centered learning. हाँ बच्चे कर रहे हैं हम कुछ नहीं करेंगे. No. Child-centered learning is giving utmost importance to the child, and this I think this graphics present speak 1,000 words. Now change welcomed. Yes. Now this is how can we solution through partnerships. There should take the parents in consideration. We should take the society in consideration. What change we can do? Rehabilitation services. बच्चे का हर तरह का मैंने कहा अगर है उसको ऑर्थोपेडिक इम्पेयर बच्चा है तो उसको सपोर्ट मेनी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट आर डूइंग. बिलीव मी मेनी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स आर डूइंग. आप पढ़ लीजिएगा उनको हर तरह का उनको हियरिंग एड दिया जाता है, उनको ब्रेल ये प्रोवाइड किया जाता है, टेप रिकॉर्डर प्रोवाइड किया, ऑर्थोपेडिक इम्पेयरमेंट के लिए आपका स्क्रैच एवरीथिंग इज प्रोवाइडेड. And access, the child should be able to reach the school. Positive attitude of the teachers, the school community, positive attitude. Then innovation and knowledge. We have to innovate. My child is unable to adapt to my way of teaching, then I should innovate and I should develop knowledge. That is the best way. That is the only way of welcoming that. Next slide. Next slide, sir. The next slide. 6 years of inclusive education: equity, equal access, equal opportunity, equal dignity, even-handedness. Even-handedness. सबको एक कीजिए. Equal access.
सुभाष जी अपना माइक ऑफ करिए. सुभाष जी अपना माइक ऑफ करिए. सुभाष जी अपना माइक ऑफ करिए.
Equal opportunity, equal freedom, equal सबके लिए. Equal dignity, extend respect every child. होता है कैसे भी बैकग्राउंड से आए. कई बार टीचर के बहाना मिल जाते हैं. जैसे आई हैंडल प्राइमरी टीचर्स सो आई सी मैडम आरटी बच्चा नहीं कर पाया. व्हाट इज व्हाट यू मीन बाय आरटी बच्चा नहीं कर पाया? You should have respect for the child. Hardly matters what does his or father do. His or her father do. Effective communication, yes, you should be able to. टेक्नोलॉजी अडॉप्ट कीजिए कैसे भी करके. कम्युनिकेशन इज अ प्रॉब्लम फॉर फिजिकल इम्पेयर बच्चा और सोशली डिसएडवांटेज बच्चों के लिए, बट यू हैव टू अडॉप्ट टू इट. Embrace culture, encourage collaboration. You appreciate the culture of the cultural background of the child and encourage collaboration. एक साथ बच्चे के साथ मिल करके बच्चे को हेल्प कीजिए. Addressing, next slide, sir. So next line, addressing diverse needs of learners. Diversity in terms of physical needs, academic needs, psychosocial needs. Already I have discussed all this point. Academic needs, physical needs में भी difference होगी. Academic needs भी अलग अलग है हर बच्चे का. Even gifted child का need और एक intellectually impaired बच्चे का need एक नहीं हो सकता है. Psychosocial needs we have to take care of. The behavior disorder बच्चा या child coming from an abusive family, उनका साइकोसोशल नीड्स दूसरे बच्चों से अलग होगा. We should take care of it. As a teacher, we should take care of it. Pedagogical concerns क्या क्या हो सकता है? As a next slide. Differentiation in curricular planning and instruction. Yes, Repeatedly I'm telling you, our curricular planning should be different for such children. Our instruction should be different. We cannot expect, again I'm telling, one size fits all. जिस बच्चे को जैसा इंस्ट्रक्शन चाहिए वैसे देना. Curriculum adaptation that government is taking care of, if also does not come in black and white, we know that पूरा अगर हम चाहे पूरे सिलेबस इन बच्चों से नहीं करवा सकते. Experiential learning, let the child experience, let the child know, learn from his environment. Flexible child-centered teaching and learning strategies. We always talk of it. Competency-based learning, outcome and assessment. This I will come in detail. Again, I'm telling you, this form में हम आज competency-based कर रहे हैं primary में. That is not the real way of competency-based learning. Then continuous assessment as for and off learning. That we have discussed the previous day as for and off learning. Assessment should go continuously. आप ये expect नहीं कर सकते ऐसे बच्चों का exam last में ले लिया, grade दे दिया. No. For this, continuous assessment go as learning, for learning and off learning. This should be the pedagogical concept when we think of inclusion. Challenges and opportunities. Come on. Everything, yes, challenges are there. Again, I'm telling our class size is a big challenge. Challenges and opportunities are also there. All mainstream schools to become capable of educating all children in their local country. Government expectation hai all mainstream schools should be capable. In KVS we are doing, of course, no problem. Barrier-free access to education for all children across the stages. Address diverse needs of learner in all school activities, including art, sports, and vocational training. You have to think of, you have to plan games which they can play in I told you, dance or music, whatever they can do, get it done by then. Vocational training, government is going to make a part of it website 2023 से include हो जाए 6 onwards. तो उसमें भी इनके लिए planning होना चाहिए. Provide quality education to all learners through assistive devices, technology-based tools, appropriate teaching learning materials, whatever I was telling all the time. That is summarization. Whatever device is required, whatever assistance is required, should be provided. Eliminate, of course, special educator का suggestions KVS का है, but उसमें जो दिया गया है वो qualification के लोग मिलना मुश्किल हो रहा है. But yes, every teacher is a resource. Every teacher can become a special educator with a bit of care and bit of knowledge. Eliminate social exclusion, that is the consequence of attitude and response. Diversity in race, social class, ethnicity, language, gender and ability. We don't have this problem in KVS. KVS is a miniature India. Our racial, religion, ethnicity, language के नाम पे कोई barrier नहीं होता है. But it is in general for all the schools. Develop teacher competencies and skill, very much needed. KVS should think of training such teacher in means. When I was in ZIT Bhubaneswar, I used to plan one workshop every year for the primary teachers. I don't know anyone is there from here whether attended or not. And we used to bring all special educators to that. वो तो एक दिन 5 दिन की training में नहीं होता है, but still we tried. So teacher competence and skill develop करने के लिए KVS should think in this line. Develop evidence-based practices that measure what we value rather than valuing what we can measure. Am I clear? हम क्या करते हैं? Valuing what we can measure. जो हम measure कर सकते हैं, उसी को value देते हैं. But measure what we value. But जो importance हम दे रहे हैं, उसको measure करना आना चाहिए. So that is change in your attitude. Create a system of teaching and learning that is competency-based instead of content, not content. Content या curriculum, the content, finishing of the content is not the aim, should not be the aim of a 21st century teacher. That is curriculum development, developing competency in the child. Create an educational culture of collaboration that encourages and supports problem solving. Collaborate with each other. Teacher is not a soloist in आज के ज़माने में. A teacher is a collaborator. Collaborate with other people, other teachers of your vidyalaya. Okay. Establish school cluster to develop consensus around inclusive values. Already we are in cluster. This is meant for the schools in totality in all India. Provide inclusive curriculum that is value oriented and responsive to cultural and linguistic diversity. बार बार गवर्नमेंट इस पे स्ट्रेस दे रही है कि उनके जहाँ पे हम अगेन KVS is excluded from this. KVS I told it is मिनिएचर इंडिया, फिर भी ये छूट अभी दिया गया है जिस स्टेट में हम रह रहे हैं वहाँ के लैंग्वेज हम यूज करके बच्चों को कम्युनिकेट करें. Create learning environment that embraces diversity, a positive environment that responds to needs of learners beyond academics. Academics is not everything. अभी यहाँ पे अगर ऑनरेबल प्रिंसिपल, वाइस प्रिंसिपल एंड पीजीटीज है तो बोलेंगे मैडम वो ये देखा जाए
Not audible, madam.
कौन सा क्या हुआ?
लॉक्ड आउट. हेलो,
हाँ यस मैम.
आ रही है मैम आवाज आ रही है.
what left out, sir? So where I was, yes, we should think of going beyond academics. वही मैं बोल रही थी. As because in KVS PI देखा जाता है तो ऑनरेबल प्रिंसिपल, वाइस प्रिंसिपल या PGT जो प्रेजेंट वो बोलेंगे मैडम we cannot go beyond academics. But anyway, elementary, these children at most they go up to elementary education. There we can think of beyond academics. We should give importance to the co-curricular development. Actually, that is making the child, where the child should learn to accept himself or herself. Our attitude should not make the child feel that he or she is a burden. If the child accepts himself or herself with dignity, the child can earn livelihood, and that is the aim of education in KVS. That every child should learn, should be trained to earn his own livelihood. Our life should develop.
जी आप बोलिए मत, सीधा कीजिए, आप सीधा रिमूव कीजिए, बीच में डिस्टर्ब हो रहा है. बिल्कुल आप रिमूव कर दिया कीजिए, फिर ज्वाइन होंगे तो म्यूट होके ज्वाइन होंगे. यस मैम.
Create inclusive school culture, support of trained inclusive teachers, social workers and counselors. These are again meant for other schools than KVS. KVS comes under special school. We are getting all support from the KVS management. The next, the features of inclusive education. What are the features? Children have diversified needs. We should accept that children have diversified needs. Uniqueness of the child equals continuous support and attention. Every child is unique. अगर ऐसे बच्चे आपको मिल जाते हैं, they need continuous support and attention. Especially जो learning disabled बच्चे हैं, जिनका behavior disorder सबको चाहिए. But जो behavior disorder वाले बच्चे उनको every time they need a support and attention. Demand flexibility in learning. Repeatedly I'm telling, don't expect that whatever syllabus you have, you are going to complete for all this child. Whatever they can learn, we should accept it. No fixed teaching style. You have to adapt the way the child can learn. Mixture of various means and media along with strategies of communication. Whatever communication. Learning styles अलग होते हैं. कोई oral learner, कोई visual learner, कोई tactile learner, कोई solo learner, कोई group learner. तो you have to change accordingly. Different assessment and evaluation. इनके लिए evaluation भी अलग होगा, जिसे हम adaptive assessment कहते हैं. Next slide, sir. Next slide, sir. What is a teacher's role? You are a guide. You are a counselor. You have to counsel such children and their parents. I have done many case study on this. Many case study. And खैर ये innovation experimentation award तो बंद हो गया, कल से बोलना बेकार है. And those case studies help me in this my innovation experimentation award. You are a researcher. You have to research. You have to find out. You have to. Everyone can. When you are doing action research, you are a researcher. And such problems can be solved through action research. You are a resource person. You have to arrange कि कहाँ से मैं help लेके आऊँ, कहीं से अगर कोई मिल रहा है मुझे special educator, if I can arrange for the child for a period. बहुत सारे parent भी होते हैं, so you can be. You have to learn continuously to help these children. Networking for sharing, yes. Find it out. You have to from net कहीं से भी दूसरे information provider आपको अगर कोई information can provide information to the child. So as a teacher, when you are handling children with special educational need or ACDGs, you have to play this number of roles, maybe beyond that. ये तो मेरा perception है. You can keep adding many more roles to it. Next slide, sir. 5 hours of inclusion. Reach to such children. That is the right understand. Take the responsibility, develop relationship, respect such children. Then only you can be successful as a teacher catering to the inclusiveness in your classroom. Reach, right, responsibility, relationship and respect. To achieve inclusion and equity need to work together, collaborate with each other, tolerate others, because none of us is as smart as all of us. You cannot do anything alone. If you work in a team, अथवा frustrated नहीं होंगे. Teachers teaching in the same class or teachers who have taught such children in a previous class, you can work together, collaborate together. None of us is as smart as all of us. The teacher must bask in the richness of the inclusive system. Bask का मतलब लोग जानते ही होंगे. Basking means enjoying the warmth in the sun when the sun glows in winter and a धूप सेकते, that is basking. What is that bask? Belief, attitude, skills, knowledge. You should have the belief you can do. You should have the attitude to accept them. You should have the skills to support them and a bit of knowledge about them. That's all about my presentation, sir. Now, if I can be of any help.
किसी को कोई क्वेरी हो आप अपना हैंड रेज कर दीजिए, जिससे कि अगर आपको कुछ